Hey everyone, welcome back to Veteran Game, the channel where we don't just play games, we tell you if they're worth your time. If you're sick of bland, recycled Metroidvanias, make sure to subscribe for the raw, no BS reviews you won't find anywhere else. Today we're flapping our wings into a world overflowing with pixelated platforms, unlockable skills, and, unfortunately, not much else. It's Wings of Endless, a Metroidvania that tries to spread its wings, but might just crash and burn. Let's break down what works, what absolutely doesn't, and whether this is one adventure worth exploring or forgetting. Let's start with the basics. Wings of Endless comes from Isoka Games and Jandusoft, landing on PC, Switch, PlayStation and Xbox for a budget price. It's got the retro tinge pixel art, the RPG mechanics, and that classic get new abilities to open new path structure every Metroidvania fan expects. You play as Hariku, a cocky bounty hunter who gets sucked into an ancient mystery, accompanied by his wisecracking owl pal, Owly. There are 3 playable characters in total. Hariku the hammer-wielding brawler, a sneaky thief who turns invisible, and a mage that floats and slings fireballs. On paper, variety. In practice, it's another story. Now, a crowded genre means you gotta have something that stands out: pacing, atmosphere, visuals, music, or maybe a unique twist. Wings of Endless doesn't really have any of those things. What you do get is a game that feels like a checklist of Metroidvania features, assembled by committee and glued together with grey flavorless paste. Let's talk about the core gameplay. All 3 characters have different abilities, but only Hariku feels remotely effective in combat. He gets the double jump, air dash, and a solid attack. The thief and mage, they're like support characters that got lost on the way to a party. They look cool, but you'll almost never want to use them. Why? The combat is completely unbalanced. Enemies have bloated health pools. The thief can't take a hit to save her life, and the mage is only situationally useful. The result? You stick with Hariku for 90% of the game, making the multiple hero gimmick feel like a total afterthought. And yes, you'll have to switch characters constantly for random obstacles. But it's not the kind of satisfying aha puzzle-solving Metroidvanias are famous for. It's more like being forced to swap to an underpowered character, suffer through a clunky section, and then hurry back to your main ASAP. The platforming isn't much better. Level design starts out fine, but quickly devolves into cramped corridors, cheap damage traps, and trial and error jumps. There's coyote time and air stalling attacks, but it never feels smooth or satisfying. Some rooms are vertical nightmares, where you're punished for daring to jump naturally. And don't get me started on the random thorns and flamethrowers waiting just out of view to slap you down every time you finally think you've nailed the tricky section. Exploration, usually the main hook in a good Metroidvania, here becomes a slog. There's an in-game map which is almost helpful, except there's no mini-map. So you'll be pausing every 30 seconds to figure out where the heck you are, breaking the flow, and making the game feel even slower. Hidden upgrades and secrets are everywhere, but the upgrade system is a confusing mess. All 3 heroes share one skill tree, but the only real smart move is to dump everything into Hariku, because the others just can't keep up. Try to balance your stats and you'll wind up with 3 underpowered losers, which, trust me, is not fun. The visuals, they're fine. Some genuinely nice backgrounds, lots of movement, chunky sprites. If you squint, you might feel a little bit that SNES nostalgia. But the screen often gets so busy with effects and background animations that tracking what's actually a threat becomes a real pain, especially during enemy swarms. It's style over clarity, and it hurts the gameplay more than it helps the atmosphere. Soundtrack? Let's just say you won't be humming any of these tunes after you turn the game off. It's as generic and forgettable as the rest of the package. The story is the same, a typical anime-like Chosen One deal with a wisecracking animal sidekick, a war lost to history, and a lot of text boxes you'll skip after about 5 minutes. There's no real hook, no atmosphere, no heart. So what does Wings of Endless get right? There are a couple bright spots. The pixel art, when it isn't overwhelming, can be charming. The game is generous with coyote time, which helps with the more frustrating jumps. There are big levels, lots of hidden paths and collectibles if you're the type who needs to 100% everything. And the price is reasonable. If you really need another Metroidvania fix and don't mind mediocrity, you won't be breaking the bank. But here's the harsh truth. With so many great Metroidvanias out there, Hollow Knight, Axiom Verge, Bloodstained, Dead Cells, and even smaller indies like Haiku the Robot or Lone Fungus, there is zero reason to pick up Wings of Endless unless you're completely desperate for something new. Even games with more flaws or jank have more personality and identity than this one. Wings of Endless isn't fancifully bad, it's just aggressively boring, a grey, flavorless smoothie of everything you've already played before, but with none of the magic. Maybe if you're under 8 years old and this is your very first Metroidvania, it'll feel fresh. For everyone else, you'll forget it the second you turn it off. Final verdict. Wings of Endless is proof that checking every box on the Metroidvania list doesn't mean you'll stand out, or even be fun. If you're hungry for new adventures, do yourself a favor and pick literally anything else from the genre. This one's for the bargain bin. But hey, maybe I'm being too harsh. Have you played it? Did you find a hidden spark I missed, or did you bounce off after the first bland hour? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk Metroidvanias, the good, the bad, and the flavorless. Smash like if you appreciate the honesty, subscribe for more gaming deep dives and spicy takes, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep your wings up and don't settle for less.